Hey everyone, it's Sammy from Sammy's Sweet Life, and I have got my week number 24 pregnancy update, and there's not a whole lot to talk about. I have a couple of new things, but basically it's the same old, same old. I don't know if I talked about it quite so much last week, but it's definitely really hit this week where I just don't want to eat. I know I have to eat, so I do eat, but there's most of the times throughout the day I'm like, gosh, it's been a while since I've eaten. I need to actually eat something. One, because obviously I'm pregnant, the baby needs nutrients, I need to keep my energy up. But for two, I am a migraine sufferer, so I have to be really careful with skipping meals because that can really trigger migraines for me. I have had that be a problem in the past. In like college, when I was super busy, I would skip a meal here and there, and I would definitely pay for it with a migraine later. So I have to be extra careful because of that, and I just have to kind of force myself to eat some of the time. It seems like more like 1 to 2 p.m. I start getting hungry, I want to eat something, and that's like my biggest time of eating during the day. I actually look forward to eating at that point in time, but it's usually just like one time a day that I'm interested in eating, one time of day I'm ready to feed those cravings, and I really hope this goes away because in my week 24 pregnancy update, I talked about my pregnancy with Olivia. I said I just wanted to eat everything, and I had a few cravings, but basically I just ate everything. I really want that. I want to feel that way, and it's just not been like that at all. Especially lately, these past couple weeks, I'm super indecisive about what I even want and ordering our groceries. I just do the grocery pickup and I'm like, gosh, what do I even want to eat? I'll put everything on the list because I just don't know what I'm gonna want. So that's been really annoying because I know I have to eat and I just wish I wanted stuff. So I'm like, oh yes, I'm looking forward to blah, and then next time I need to eat, that's what I'll eat. And it's just not been like that. I get to that point where like, okay, I need to eat. I go look in the pantry and look in the fridge and see what we have, and I'm like, nothing sounds good. I did talk about this in my update last week, but she had like moved down lower. I've been having way more pelvic pain and pelvic discomfort, the lightning crotch, all those kind of feelings deep down, and having more room to breathe and to eat. And there were a couple of days, it was like 2 days in a row that I felt that, and I could eat like a full meal, which was really nice, but it's only happened intermittently since, and it's just for a little bit of time here and there. And I thought at the time like, oh, maybe she flipped, so she's further down or something. And that's totally not the case because she did flip recently. One night I felt it. It was super duper uncomfortable. It felt like something I would experience like in an alien movie when there's something that's taking over your body and it is moving. I saw my stomach go from, you know, pretty much round to oblong shaped this way. And it was super uncomfortable and a little bit on the painful side, but mostly just really uncomfortable and like a surreal experience. I've never felt this before. So I know Olivia had flipped at some point, but I never felt it. Whereas this time I really felt it. I was laying down and all of a sudden my stomach is oblong and it's super uncomfortable and super tight. And I was like, what the heck is happening? I don't necessarily feel that she's any lower, but I assume that maybe she's head down now. Maybe she flips in my sleep, or she flips sometimes and I don't really notice, but I really noticed that time. And it made me feel so bad for anybody who had to go through like the manual flipping of the baby to try to flip the baby near the end. I cannot even imagine how much pain you guys must go through doing that with a much bigger baby. Because right now, you know, she's only like a foot long. It's not a huge difference, but it was really noticeable. So I know she's not in there just like twisting and flipping all the time. I feel like I would notice because it was really obvious and really noticeable. So anyway, I wanted to talk about that. I haven't noticed a big difference since then. It just happened and it felt a little bit different after that, and then since then it's felt kind of the same thing. Mostly I can't tell if she's low or high for the most part, but there are these times when I can breathe a lot better, and there's times I'm having a way more pelvic discomfort. So I think it just has to do with her positioning. And I did have another theory on like why the lightning crotch and the pelvic pain and the round ligament pains are just hurting so much worse this time. Obviously, second pregnancy is gonna be a little bit tougher on your body, but also I had a C-section, so I do have scar tissue. So I think when my uterus is stretching out, it might be more painful than the previous time because there is that scar tissue there. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into my questions down the list. I am 24 weeks and baby is the size of a cantaloupe, which makes more sense because cantaloupes are big. As far as new and lingering symptoms, I'm gonna combine it basically the same symptoms. I'm still going to town on those fiber 1 bars. I definitely do think they've helped quite a bit, so I'm gonna stick with those. And I go back and forth between having the pressure up high and having the pressure in my pelvic region. It just really depends on what the heck she's doing doing or what's going on with my body. I don't know. There's no like real rhyme or reason to it. It's not like later in the day my pelvis hurts more or anything. I do get a little bit achy later in the day, but it's mostly like lower back pain, and it's just from, you know, the walking and the movement and things. I've had 2 lingering symptoms for weeks and weeks now, and I just figured out what one of them was. Like, I didn't look into it or anything. And then the other one, I just haven't mentioned so far. So for number 1, I have the itchiest pits. Just my armpits are so super duper itchy. I have changed deodorants a couple of times. Nothing seems to help. And I have been really careful about not scratching other parts of my body because I don't want to get stretch marks and I don't want to damage the skin. But I let myself go crazy scratching under my arms a couple of times, and I have spots where I scratched it really badly, and some days it like stung to actually put on the deodorant because I had broken the skin. And so I've been really careful not to scratch my pits, even though they are super itchy. That's one of the itchiest spots on my body, and I think it's just one of those weird itchy skin things. I thought maybe it had to do with shaving because, you know, when you shave, when hair grows back, it can itch and irritate, and it doesn't help. If I don't shave, I still have the itchy pits. So I've just been shaving anyway. Number 2 symptom is I've had like metallic and bitter tastes in my mouth, and I knew it was like a pregnancy thing, but I never put a name to it or looked into it anymore. But it's definitely a pregnancy thing, and I'm gonna try to pronounce this word. I will put it down the bottom. I tried to look up how to pronounce it. I think it's dysgeusia is how I heard it pronounced. It is just when your taste buds do weird things and your brain does weird things based on all the hormones and the pregnancy things, and it gives you like bitter tastes and metallic tastes. And I've noticed it with things here and there. I told you guys I've been brushing my teeth a lot more because I've just been getting weird tastes and weird aftertastes with things. It's mostly like a bitter, weird taste. I'll eat something and then I'm like, gosh, I gotta go brush my teeth because I just have this weird taste in my mouth, and it does help to like just brush and rinse, and then it feels much better. But the one thing that's making like a super duper metallic taste is mac and cheese, which is really weird. Anytime we've had mac and cheese, all I can taste when I'm eating the mac and cheese most of the time is just this really metallic-y undertone and aftertaste, and it's not pleasant at all. I also get the metallic taste when I am chewing on my Tums. Like I take Tums for the heartburn, and just a few things here and there I've had a little metallic taste, but mostly it's just this bitter, not pleasant flavor. And one of the things I've read about this dysgeusia thing is it also can happen with acid reflux. So it could be very much related to the heartburn issues that I'm having. Those are the 2 symptoms. I just didn't know what one of them was. As far as cravings and aversions, I don't have any new aversions, but I do have a couple of cravings. I've been craving peaches and peach cobbler, so I made peach cobbler last week. I plan on making it again this week. I warm it up a little bit and then put ice cream on top, so I get the cold and the hot, and it's sweet, and it's also a little bit savory because I used salted butter instead of unsalted butter, and it made it a little bit salty, and I just loved it. In my grocery video earlier this week, I included the recipe I used. It's just a really simple recipe, and now I want to kind of complain about the peach cobbler recipes I keep finding on Pinterest. Most of them are made with cake mix, and I'm gonna be super judgy. If you make your peach cobbler with a cake mix, ew, it does not take long to make a fresh peach cobbler, even if you used canned peaches. You just have to throw a couple of ingredients together, and it is so much better. I can't even tell you how much better it will be. So I definitely recommend, if you're making peach cobbler with a cake mix, try to do it yourself. And it's so good, so easy. It took me like 5 minutes to whip it up, and I used fresh peaches. The recipe I used actually calls for making a syrup, so it turns those peaches into like a canned peach, and that is really good. It was just one of the best peach cobblers I've ever had, especially because I used a little bit too much salt by adding the salted butter instead of the unsalted butter. That's one of those things that I did really like and crave last week, so I'm gonna make another one this week. Another thing I just craved one specific time, I made this Instant Pot tuna noodle casserole. I think I saw this on the Instant Pot Facebook group that I'm in. It's just a tuna thing. It looked like tuna tetrazzini almost, but they used egg noodles and I used spaghetti noodles. It was really good. I plan on making it again this week. And then I've just been craving ice water. I really just like it to be super cold with ice, and also like ice popsicles, just the little, you know, the little stick ones that are just basically flavored water frozen. I've just really liked those, and that's probably due to the heat, and something I'll talk about in a minute as well. But no real aversions. I have not roasted much broccoli because it's still one of the things I'm just kind of grossed out about. And as far as weight, I'm up 1 pound yet again, which it seems like every week it's been 1 pound, and I cannot believe that it's only been 1 pound, because the last few updates I've watched with Olivia, I've had 4-pound weeks. So I know that it's coming. I know that the main gain weeks are still to come, but I'm just kind of waiting for it. I'm bracing myself when I get on the scale each week and weigh. I'm just waiting for that like 3 or 4 or 5 pound week to sneak up on me. But again, the food, I'm just not eating everything in sight like I felt like I was with her pregnancy. 1 pound up this week, that's 17 pounds overall. You know, it's still in a good range, and I'm not concerned if I gain a whole lot. I'd really, honestly, rather gain a lot and want to eat everything, because this is the time of my life I feel like I should be able to just indulge and eat whatever I want. And I know you don't eat for 2. I know you still need to eat healthy and things, but I would really like to have some like super horrible for you cravings that I can just go crazy on. At this point, I would totally take that over what's been happening. And again, compared to my pregnancy with Olivia, the food thing is definitely just completely opposite. And also, I mentioned in the video, as far as symptoms, I'm like, yeah, I'm still feeling great. And that was at week 24 with her pregnancy. And now I'm still like, gosh, my achiness is getting worse. I'm so achy, and I'm still tired, and I still don't want to eat anything, and I'm feeling kind of blah. And again, I talked about it all last week too, like my mood's totally different than it was with her. The best thing this week has been pool time. We've been still trying to go at least like 3 times a week. Basically turns into about every other day. I give us a rest day in between because I get sore and Livy gets sore. So she is really just turned a corner these last few times we visited the pool. She jumps in, goes under. Without her floaty, she can touch the bottom, so if she stands on her tippy toes, she can, you know, breathe, and it's no big deal. But this last time we went, which was yesterday, she jumped in and swam to me. Like, I could not believe what happened. She saw another little girl do this. The other girl has been in swim lessons, and just something clicked for her. Her mom said just like a month or so ago, something really clicked with her. Well, something's clicking with Olivia too. She has no problem going under. She has no problem like doing the scoops and the kicking and the going under at the same time. It's just incredible. She cannot swim. Like, I would not put her in deeper water at all because she cannot stay up to like keep herself afloat. She will like start to go further down and then have to touch the ground eventually. So she's definitely not like a swimmer. I would not feel confident with her swimming around in the pool, but with me just right there, just in case, and she can touch down on the ground, she is swimming, and it's incredible. I almost ugly cried in the pool because I was so proud of her, and she's determined. She wants to swim, and she's just trying everything and learning so rapidly, and I'm just so thankful that she can hold her breath. And that's just a big thing. Like, you know, when your kid goes under the water, you don't want them coming up coughing and freaking out. She just holds it. Like I said, we go pretty much every other day, and it's great exercise for me. I'm wearing myself out some of those days. And like yesterday, we were there for 3 hours because she was just having a ball swimming. When we're there that long, most of the time I'm just standing there or sitting next to her while she's doing her playing. But I'm also lifting her out of the pool sometimes because she starts getting tired of using her arms to get out, and sometimes we're not near stairs, so there is a lot of me like lifting her up. So like today my shoulders and my arms are tired because she weighs basically 40 pounds, so it's a lot. I'm also doing some wading, so I am getting some swimming, and as she's swimming across like the shallower thing, I'm swimming across with her. It's just been super fun, especially when Johnny's there, all 3 of us there. It's awesome together. Sometimes we go a little earlier in the day. It's just her and me those times, but sometimes we go with him as well, and those are extra fun because he will do lots of cool, fun stuff with her. And it's a huge workout for me. Like yesterday, I could barely do anything afterwards. I was just so tired. I just basically laid on the couch all evening after that, but it was so much fun, and it definitely cools us off. It's been mid to high 90s here a lot of days, so it's great to get in the pool and cool off. And that goes along with the worst thing. This last week, our lower AC went out. So this is a 2-story house, and there's an AC for the top of the house and then AC for the bottom of the house. And since we got back from vacation, the bottom AC has just not been doing very well. It's been struggling, and it stopped blowing cold air. It just like, it would just be like a fan spinning, no coldness coming through at all. And the house got up to like 85 a lot of days, even with the ceiling fans running, even with the upstairs AC running. Of course, when it started, we're going back and forth with the landlord, and thank goodness they got it replaced. These last few days, they did get it replaced finally, but it took a while, you know? This is peak AC season in Austin, and it takes a while to get somebody out here to do a full replacement. They fully replaced the whole unit, and they were here all day long, replacing the whole thing one day. So I feel like the top one's gonna be next. And I know, like I've mentioned in quite a few videos, and I'll talk about this in like a budget or house update video at some point, but these houses over here are really, really old and they're just needing all the things replaced. And I talked to people in the neighborhood and watched the neighborhood group, and it's the same thing from everybody. Like, okay, where do I get a new oven? Where do I get new AC? And all the same issues we're having in this house and other issues. It's just the age of the house. Things need to be replaced and they're super costly. If you have an older house or if you've lived in your house long enough, these major expenses are gonna come up. And so I feel super bad for the landlord on one hand, and then I also feel super inconvenienced that we're living through all of these replacements in a really older house. And I'm also super duper thankful we're not footing the bill for any of these things, because the estimates people are posting are like $5K for one AC unit, and this house has two. So that's like a $10K expense getting 2 units replaced. And then I also said like the oven almost cost $3,000. I don't know how much the garage door motor cost to replace, but that had to be at least a couple of $100s. So these are major house expenses we have not had to incur. We've just had to endure the major annoyance. And like I said, it was super hot in the house. They did end up bringing over a window unit to cool us down some, but it still did not do the same as like a full-blown AC. It was just really unfortunate that it was the lower down AC that went out, not the top one, because if it was the top one, we would just have Livy sleep in the guest room downstairs and we could all stay really cool. But since it's the lower one, the top one was working overtime since heat rises, so even the upstairs wasn't super duper cool. And so it was just a kind of a miserable week, and that's why the pool felt really, really good. That's why the ice pops and the ice water felt really, really good. Like I talked about last week, I had some major hot flashes going on. Well, I had more of those this week. I lived in like underwear basically all week long when we were home. We took lots of adventures out. We would just go places that had AC because we didn't have AC at home for those days. It was just really hot and miserable. Anyway, enough AC drama. I will have some sort of, I think I'll talk more about like a house update, more about along the lines of the renting versus buying stuff in my next budget update, because it's something that I have lots of thoughts on all of a sudden, and I want to talk more about that. I think our viewpoint on the whole renting thing has majorly shifted the last couple of months as a renter, so I will, I'll go more into that. But for the sake of this video, let's keep going. On the agenda this week, I have my appointment for checking the placenta previa. I have a full blockage. My placenta is completely blocking my cervix, and I'm really hoping that it will move. I talked about this in major depth last week. I have my appointment later in the week, and I will fill you guys in next week. That's the only really agenda thing going on. Livy and Johnny are both back at work and school this week, so I am on my own for a couple more hours a day, and I can actually get some stuff done, get some videos filmed. It's gonna be nice to get back more on track, and it's been really funny. The first day Johnny went back to work, he and I both forgot about his lunch. He was at work and he's like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to look and see if you packed my lunch. And I was like, oh, that's funny because I didn't pack your lunch. Totally forgot to pack it. He totally forgot to even look for it the morning of. And it was just really bizarre because he's gone to work the same job for like 6 years, but this 5-week vacation really threw us both off track. Now we're really trying to get back into our normal everyday routine with her back in school and him back at work. And that's all I have for you guys. If you've got questions, leave them down below. And let's look at this belly. I'm wearing one of my pink blush maternity dresses, and this is one of the ones that I feel like looks like a muumuu. It's so big. It'll be great when I'm really feeling big at the later part of my pregnancy, but right now it's a little bit too big. It's not very flattering or form-fitting, but I really wanted to wear it because it's comfortable and lightweight and feels like wearing not much. All right, and I'll show you guys one thing actually in the background here. Johnny hooked up this basket, which I think is hilarious, because they fly paper airplanes over this ledge. She just loves paper airplanes right now. And so he has this hooked up so she can put her paper airplanes in the basket and pull it up. It's just really funny. So it's kind of draped in here. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at this belly. 24 weeks. I don't know if it's much bigger, but this is my pink blush maternity dress. It's quite large, and I'll have lots of room to, you know, have a giant belly at some point, even though I already kind of feel like it's pretty giant. There it is. And I don't know if you guys can tell, or you can tell me if she's lower down or she's sitting up high. I really don't know the difference. I can't really tell as far as like looking at a belly like, oh yeah, they're sitting really low. I don't know. So there you go. Big belly. So I've been rambling so long, my battery got too hot, so it turned it off, but I'm just gonna say goodbye. I will link to this dress if you're looking for something really large during your pregnancy. I would definitely size down one if you want it to be more form-fitting. I got the same size, I like my measurements for all my dresses, and it's a little bit big for early on in pregnancy. I think it'll be great for later on. I forgot to show you guys the back. I really like of this one, the little cutout thing. I think it's super cute, and you know, in the house I'll have my hair down, but most of the time I put it up in a messy bun when I'm leaving because it's just so hot. I hope you guys like this update. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I will also leave a playlist from my pregnancy with Olivia if you want more weekly updates. I'll leave the week 24 for Olivia's pregnancy and also my playlist for this pregnancy so you can catch up if you're interested in other weeks. And I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.